with head volleyball coach Greg Poole, and Coach, a week into preseason camp, your thoughts so far?
I think things are going great. It's the first time in a long time, and maybe ever, I've walked into a situation where I have not seen really any of the players on the court in practice. So, like what I see, they're working hard. There's definitely a lot of talent there, and we're trying to figure out where to put people. And it's been an incredible experience so far with all this.
With such a young team, 9 freshmen and 1 transfer, a lot of responsibility is going to go on your 2 senior captains. Can you talk what Holly and Sarah have done at this point?
Holly and Sarah have been incredible. Since the moment it was announced that I was hired, both of them reached out to me just to kind of introduce themselves, talk to me a little bit about what they've been through in the past 3 years of them playing, what they were expecting in their 4th year. They're 2 very incredible young women. They're 2 very dedicated young women to this program. To be quite honest, I'm trying to take a little bit of the responsibility off of them so they can just focus on being athletes and students.
And then you also have 2 other returners, Jenny Wallace and Julie Flynn. Can you talk about them real quickly?
They've been incredible too. I've had the opportunity to sit down with both of them. Jenny was actually in my one of the student athletes that was part of my interview process. That was an incredible highlight for me when I was up here that day. I could have stayed with her and talked with her for a long time about volleyball, but as you know, we had to kind of move along. Those 2 and the 4 of them, honestly, as returning players, have been incredible leaders for these young women, and you can really start to see what they've been putting into it and how it's affecting this team right now in a positive way.
On the other side of the age spectrum, you got a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement, a lot of energy out of your freshman class. And talk about them as a whole.
I mean, right now we're about 5 days into it, so the first couple days were a little quiet, as you expect from first-year players, and whether they're transfers, we have 9 freshmen and 1 transfer. So it was a little quiet, and now we're at the point where we can't shut them up. We get up to lunch, and they stay up there and hang out. They're doing things every night together, and you can really start to see what they're doing when they're off the court, transferring to what they're doing on the court, as far as how comfortable they are with one another. And I made a joke yesterday to Holly about, it's really too bad you guys just don't get along, because all they did was joke and laugh and have fun during lunch for about an hour. So it's been a lot of fun to watch.
Great. And although it's for sure at WPI, it's not your first rodeo here in New England. You've been head coach for 15 years.
Yep.
As you look at the schedule, what can we expect to see early, going to the Regis tournament, playing some non-conference matches, and then gearing up to the conference play?
Yeah, I mean, our schedule early on and is kind of really conducive to get us prepared for conference. The NEWMAC conference is one of the strongest conferences, if not the strongest conference in New England. And we really have a few weeks before we really get into conference play that we can kind of try some things out. Like I said, we're so young and there's so many people that play multiple positions that we're going to need those matches beforehand and non-conference matches to figure out lineups and what works best and chemistry, and we're going to need that time. So we're looking forward to kind of getting to Regis the first weekend and trying a lot of things out.
And if you could introduce us to your coaching staff, where they're from, and what they bring to the table.
We have Jared Velasquez, who's returning from last year. He was one of our assistant coaches last year, and a volunteer assistant the year before that. He is a senior here at WPI this year. He was the very first person to email me when I sent an email out to the entire group. I sent it out to the returning players and the incoming freshmen and transfers, and he responded immediately with a text message, I think within 30 seconds of me pressing send on the email. He's got an incredible volleyball mind. He's incredibly dedicated, incredibly open, and if he decides to coach one day, he's going to be an incredible head coach somewhere. I've also brought in Brittany McNally, who is somebody that I've known for a while. She is a 2012 graduate from Springfield College, one of our rival NEWMAC schools. I've known Brittany for a number of years. I've known her and her family. She is a player at Springfield College. She was a coach at Shrewsbury High School last year. She was my first choice for assistants when I was told I have the money to offer somebody, and when she accepted it, made me one of the happiest men alive. She's an incredible young role model for these young women, and I'm really anxious to see what she can do in this position.
Perfect. Any other long-term goals for the season? Anything that sticks out here in your first voyage here as an engineer?
It's been incredible. Everything that I hoped this position would offer and have to start it has come true, and honestly surpassed a lot of those expectations. As far as our season, right now we're really still feeling a lot of things out. We're going to hold off on setting team goals for a little while until we kind of see what we have, both individual and for the end of the season. I usually do those during preseason, but we're going to hold off on that for a little bit because we still have a lot of figuring things out to do. But we really just want to get prepared, make sure we're in shape, and get ready for that first weekend.
Coach, thanks a lot. Best of luck, and we'll talk to you throughout the season.
Gracias mucho.